I'm Allyn Thompson.
And I'm Dr. Hugh Thompson, and we chose Wellspring because of a collapse of American funds in 2008. We were looking for a new investment advisor. We knew Pat's very well and his integrity and his honesty, and he's a spiritual soul. He presented Wellspring to us.
And I was invited to join the group, which I thought was very nice because oftentimes the wife isn't really included in anything. Pat always made me be one of the people that could come to breakfast or come to lunch and talk about what we were going to do. And he always said up front what was going to happen next in our procedure to make this decision, which was a big decision for us.
He invited us to a very extensive presentation of how he planned to invest our money. He asked us lots of questions about what we were comfortable with investments, and we seemed to match up very well because I didn't want to be bothered by looking at stock charts and whatnot, and he gave me confidence that with the dimensional funds, which we ended up being part of 1,500 stocks rather than just a few. When some go up, others go down, but the balance historically has always been a little above the market average. And his philosophy is stay invested even when times are dark. And we have done that with a good outcome. And I can sleep when the storms come and not have to worry about a thing. Confidence in our future security, as if we don't overspend, and he makes recommendations when we seem to be pulling too much out, and has helped us make a sort of budget. But we've been able to reduce our spending over the years we've been with him, so that he gave me a number at some time. First it was 97, I had to die by 97, or the funds would be gone and Allyn would be left with nothing.
So I had to change my ways, and that I owe to Pat. The thing that's so wonderful about him is that he does include he looks at you as partners, not as individuals. And for the first time, I got really interested in what we were investing in and how things were going. He breaks it down so that when he visits with you, he doesn't just visit with you about money. He visits with you, first of all, because you're his friend and he cares about you. And for me, that has been the best part of Pat, is that I know he cares about me, and I know he cares about Hugh, and I know he thinks further than just the numbers on a page. He takes it into contemplation about what we need, and one of the things at the beginning of our meeting, Pat and his group, was that they did this extensive interest questionnaire about what was important to us in our life, what were our goals, our life goals, and where we were in our life, what were the things we needed to be considering as we moved forward. And he always makes us feel so comfortable about that. And he's helped us with some very major decisions in our life, actually. With his help, we think we've made good decisions, and we feel secure about our future because of Pat.
Our overall level of satisfaction with Wellspring is high. We have great confidence in what they do. His team at Wellspring is all focused on his way of doing things. We think Pat is the key, but he's gotten people that buy into the way he does things. And I've had experience with 4 of the people in his group for one thing and another, and they've all been very helpful, very responsive. And if there are any questions or concerns about understanding what we want, then they check with Pat immediately and get back to me.
What I would say to someone who was trying to make a decision about Wellspring is that it is a no-brainer. Don't pass go, go directly, sign those papers, and you get him on your team. And your life will become joyful and without fear.
I would recommend that if they were looking for an investment advisor to first talk with Pat and see how they get along with him, and then ask for his interview and presentation, and then make their decision. I'm sure he would be glad to give them references, names, like people like us, to give our rating. And I think if his investment philosophy connects with theirs and they're willing to let him manage their money without their trying to do a lot of micromanaging, then they're going to do well. Early on, he showed us a chart about what happens to your money if you pull it out of some of the high days, or when you pull it out thinking that the market is going to crash. It almost never is a person's ability to choose the time to get back in that's correct. And you miss 3 to 5 days of the market rise, and you end up losing about 25% of your would-be gains. So you really have to be comfortable with not looking at the reports he sends you frequently, or we get them biannually because I don't like to look at reports, but I'm sure he gives other people more frequent reports. I've been very comfortable, and I've been retired 27 years, so a lot of that, or part of it, has been Pat. And we're still here, living on that little stash.
What he said.
The one word I would use to describe Wellspring is exceptional.
The one word I would use to describe Wellspring is love. I'm always cared for. Pat takes time to find out about our family. He shares his family with us. We are not just business people together. We are family with Pat and with Peggy and the whole Wellspring group.
And he's very interesting man. He's been in a number of businesses prior to setting up his own financial firm. All have been successful, and he really is looking out for the people that really don't have an education and are not in the high earning category, and he's working on programs that they can access with instructions of how to invest and he is available, or his team is available, for consultation.
My interactions with the Wellspring team have always been positive. If we have a meeting that we suddenly can't go to, they're always very understanding. They make a new time for us. If we have questions about papers to sign, they're always there when we ask, when we make an appointment, and treat us with M&Ms and other things while we're having our little discussions. It's a very pleasant experience to be involved with the people at Wellspring.
And for me, when I have interact with the team at Wellspring, the secretary is quite knowledgeable and can answer a number of questions with confidence. And if she has a problem or wants to go to a higher level, there's no reticence in asking somebody about my concerns, or Pat. They answer their messages rapidly, and I can talk to Pat anytime I want. He's in Rotary. I must say that Rotary is a service above self organization that reaches out to help people not only in the community but in the world with basic problems of life. And he works very hard, giving his time to our Rotary project and his coin in helping particularly with our car show, which is held once a year and is our major fundraiser. And I think since he's been here, we've given away about $6 million from our car show, and he's been a big help in that. I have worked with several other firms prior to Wellspring, and they were nice people, but they really didn't go into the depth that Pat has, and they didn't seem to be as responsive to changes in the market when they happened. A prior one was good. I knew the investor, and he had a lot of wild, off-the-cuff sort of investments, which did very well. But we were lucky, and I've tried several on my own without so much success. Even though the product is revolutionary, it was ahead of its time, so they ended up failing. Overall, I've been above average. Pat helped me recover from my misdeeds.
Well, the thing that I have had with other people besides Wellspring, I never felt like after I gave them my money that they were checking it or seeing if it seems to me like it just sat in the pot, and if it got good, if it went up, it went up. If it went down, it went down. I never felt like there was a plan or anything that was any kind of an assurance. So, I just thought that's the way it was until Pat educated us.
I would recommend Wellspring to anybody, even people who didn't think they had enough money to use an investment advisor. I think he would probably help educate them so they made better decisions.
And I feel 100% confident in being able to recommend Pat and the Wellspring Group to anyone. He has made our lives pure joy in that particular segment of our life. We just leave it all to Pat.
Hi, I'm Dr. Hugh Thompson.
I'm Allyn Thompson.
And we're really happy with Wellspring.